Hi, I just wanted to do a quick little video to show you how to make fermented dill pickles. This is a family recipe. We call them Sanford dill pickles. They were from my grandmother's side of the family, and we've been making them for generations. So they're super easy and they're really delicious. So you start out with dill. You can use fresh. You want it where it's gone to seed, the dill head. You can use fresh, or we just pick it when it's ready and then dry it. We just hang it to dry in our garage. And so you put a sprig in the bottom of a quart jar, and then you put in your washed pickling cucumbers, and I just layer them in there all around. I use the bigger ones along the side, and it's kind of like Tetris to get them to all fit in. Let's see if this one will fit. Push them all down in there. And then I'll stick some of these little ones around, fill in all the spaces. And you want it to go, that should probably do it. You want it to not really go up above the collar of the jar, because you want to be able to cover it with water. All right, so then after you've got your jar as much filled with pickles as you can, you put a tablespoon of kosher salt, and it's a tablespoon per quart. So if you have some really tall pickles, you can put them in like a 2-quart jar and then just add 2 tablespoons of kosher salt. And you add a teaspoon of pickling spice, whatever brand you like. We make our own. And just keep it in the freezer. And then if you like, there is red pepper, cayenne pepper in the pickling spice, but if you like them spicy like we do, I always stick either a whole or a partial, this small enough one, dried cayenne pepper. I just dry them out of my garden every year, and so we keep them in a jar in the cupboard. So you just stick it kind of down in there, however you can get it in. Should be able to push it down in there. And then you want garlic. So usually about a whole clove of garlic per quart, and we just slice it up and then kind of drop it down. And I really like it when they get to be older dills, the garlic gets pickled too, and it's really yummy. So I just kind of push it down in there. It's probably good. Oops. Okay, can't get it on in there. There we go. All right, and then you put another sprig of dill on the top. You just kind of fold it and crinkle it up. Stick it on top. And then you fill it with non-chlorinated water. So if you need to filter it because you have chlorine in your water, that's fine. Cold water. You want to make sure you cover up the dill and the cucumber so you fill it pretty full. And then you stick a lid on nice and tight. You want it nice and tight because you got to get the salt mixed in. And then you just kind of shake it back and forth till the salt dissolves. You'll see the salt. So you'll know when it's all dissolved. You want it pretty much all dissolved. It doesn't have to be 100%, but mostly. That looks pretty good. So then I usually back off the tightening a little bit, just a tad, so that it has room to ferment. Or you can put, they do make airlock lids you can get for mason jars. You could use that too, if you really wanted. So then you just let it sit out on your counter, on top of your fridge, wherever. I like to put a little sheet tray of some sort underneath it, or a towel, because it will like sputter out as it ferments. It'll bubble and it'll leak sometimes, and you don't want pickle juice like running all over the place. So I usually put something underneath it, but I just let it sit. If you want to eat them in about a week, there'll be what's considered new dills, which I'm not a huge fan of. But I like them when they're about 2 weeks or a little bit older than that. 2 to 4 weeks is my sweet spot for how I like them. They're still nice and crunchy and they're delicious. However, you can keep them and eat them months later, they just tend to get soft as they age. So, I mean, we've eaten them like a year later and they're fine. It's just they're not crisp. They're more mushy, soft. But that's all there is to it. And you can make quarts and quarts of them. We probably make 10, 15 quarts a year. We love our pickles. So that's all there is. And fermenting is a great way to make pickles because it creates wonderful probiotics that are good for your gut flora as it produces lactic acid. All kinds of enzymes and activity that's just really good for your body. So they're healthy for you. All right. See you on the next video.